Hey, it's your Auntie Annie. I'm back with you again with another great recipe for you. Today, I'm going to be making chicken pilau. It's a rice dish brought to the West Indies from the Indians. They brought it to like places like Trinidad and Guyana. So, you know, the Indians they're noted for doing like a biryani and all these really great rice dishes. Uh, Originally, I was looking up online and I was looking to find where this dish originated. And apparently, they said it was the Persian that did the first kind of rice with meat dish, and it was called a pilaf. And then the Indians got a hold of it, made it 100 times better, I guess. And then it came to the West Indies. We put a spin on it. My mom actually learned the dish from some Trinidadian friends she had in the 70s. And of course, she put her own spin on it. And today, that's what we're going to be doing. So give me a minute. I'll come back and I'll show you what the ingredients are and how we're going to start doing it. Okay, so I'm going to take you to some of the ingredients that I'll be using. For sure, we're going to be using rice. I'm going to be using parboiled rice. I'm going to be using Gungo Peas. You can any brand you want, and I'm going to use 400 mils of coconut milk as well. I'm going to be using a little ketchup, oyster sauce, a little margarine, Scotch bonnet pepper. I'll put in once I get the rice done. Little piece of Scotch bonnet, some garlic, thyme, and scallion. 2 things of scallion, stalks of scallion. So to start initially, sorry, and of course the chicken, and she's kind of the star of the show. So I've already attached to this video. It'll show you how to season your chicken, right? So to start, I'm going to heat the pot, put a little bit of oil. Then I'm going to use some brown sugar. So what that'll do is that I'm going to almost make my own little kind of browning. It helps to brown the chicken and even brown the rice and help to flavor it. So I'll be back once I get that started, and we'll get this chicken pilau on the way. So this is how I'm going to season my chicken for the pilau I'm going to be making. So I've bought a pack of chicken thighs. I've deboned it, washed it, dried it. So the main things I'm going to be putting in is 3 heads of garlic, small piece of onion, some Scotch bonnet. I'm going to be using the green seasoning for this, and that's why I'm not using any scallion or anything to season it, because this contains it. So I'm going to put in maybe two tablespoons of the green seasoning. I'm going to put some dried thyme, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme. Use about maybe 10 pimento seeds, garlic powder, black pepper, and of course salt. So I'm going to be using some of the Jamaican Pickuppeppa sauce. So really for this pilau, you can season the chicken any which way you like it. This is just my method. And some dark soy sauce. And I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of sugar. So once we have it all in here, we're going to rub it in. And I might put a little bit of red wine or some rum on this. That's just my style. But make sure all the seasoning is rubbed in properly. I'm going to leave this overnight, and then it'll be ready for the pan. So once I've gotten this ready to cook, I'll come back and let you see that. Okay, so now I've had the oil heated up. I'm going to go ahead and put in the brown sugar, maybe about just about three heaping teaspoons. So, and it's very important at this stage that we go ahead and just let it do its thing. So it takes a few minutes. So what it's going to do is going to foam up. Once it starts to foam up, then I know it'll be ready. You can't leave it too long, because if you leave it too long, it'll get really burnt and then bitter. So I'll be back when I'm ready to show you how it's supposed to look before I put the chicken in. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of foaming and bubbling, so we're ready to go. See the sugar is starting to burn off. We don't want it to burn off too much, so then we're going to add our chicken. So I'm just going to drop everything in. I'm going to toss the chicken around so that it gets evenly coated with the burnt sugar. It's almost like you're making your own brownie, right? And it also helps to give the flavor to the chicken and the rice and everything. So now it's just a matter of getting the chicken cooked. So while it's cooking, I'll get everything else that I need, and then I'll come back, okay? Okay, Auntie Annie's back. All right, so this is about 15 minutes. I've had the chicken cooking, and it's boneless. I deboned the thigh, cut them in smaller pieces. So this is ready now. I'm going to go ahead and season this up. If the chicken parts are any too big, you can always cut them smaller, bite size if you want. I'm going to taste for salt right here. Salt is okay. So first thing I'm going to do, I had about 3 tablespoons of onions. I'm going to just put that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add some ketchup. Now, you could add like red wine if you wanted here as well, whatever. But, I have to stick to how my mom did her recipe. So we added some ketchup. We added a little oyster sauce. And I'm going to add a little bit more water to this. And of course, I'm going to be adding a couple cups of water because when we have to put the chicken in, the rice in, we're going to need to add so it has enough liquid to cook in. I'm also going to go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of margarine. Turn the fire down just a touch down. Going to be added some black pepper, garlic powder. No salt yet. I don't think it needs any. Once I've added a coconut milk and peas, then I can test for any salt it may need. So if you have a look, it's looking very nice. Nice gravy. Of course, that's just our way of doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this simmer for about 2 minutes, and I'll be back to add our peas and our coconut milk. So this has been simmered for a couple minutes. So the first thing I'm going to be adding now is I'm going to add in my gungo peas. I've drained it from the can. I've washed it, and then I'm going to add it in now. So there she goes. Going to stir this. Your fire should be about medium, less than medium, a little on the low side because you don't want anything to be burning at this point. So just between medium and low. So we're going to make this cook for about a minute or two so that the beans start to warm up as well. Then I'll come back when I'm putting in the coconut milk in there. Okay, so this is looking really nice. So you see beans are all incorporated now. It's nice. Smells really good already. So at this point, we're going to be putting in the coconut milk. I'm using a whole can. And once I've put that in there, I'm also going to be using some hot water just to wash out the can. That's really hot. And I'm making sure I put enough water at this point so that we have enough to cook the rice. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my seasoning in, and I'll taste it for salt at the end. But so at this point, I've got 2 stalks of green onion or scallion, and I've squashed them with the back of the knife. So I'm going to put this in. 2 cloves of garlic, a little bit of Scotch Bonnet, and you can omit that if you want, but you know, Auntie Annie loves it spicy. And I have 1 whole Scotch Bonnet I'm going to drop in there. So I'm going to let this just simmer for a minute or so, and then I'm going to taste it, and then I'll start adding the rice. But you see how easy this recipe is. It's like, you know, 1, 2, 3. The hardest part is just preparing the chicken, but the actual cooking of it takes no time at all. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back to a boil, and I'll be back. Okay, everything's bubbling up nicely. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to taste it for salt, pepper, if I need to add anything else to it. So just give me a second here. Can use a little bit of salt because I'm going to be adding the rice, so you don't want the rice to be fresh. So I'm going to maybe half a teaspoon more. A little bit of garlic powder, why not? And a little bit of black pepper. So I'm just going to let this boil for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to start adding in the rice. So with this amount, maybe about 4 or 5 cups of rice. So I'll be back as soon as I go ahead and start adding the rice. Okay, so I'm ready to add my rice now. So I'm going to add about maybe initially about 4 cups, and same cup that you would get in your rice cooker. That's what I'm using. About 4, usually with this, I usually use 4 or 5 cups. That was 3. That's 4. So let's give it a stir. It's going to be able to use another cup. This looks good. So the rice is in, maybe a half a cup more. So it depends on how much liquid you have, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring this to a boil. I'm going to turn it down and give the rice to cook. So the rice will take about 20-25 minutes to steam. So I can't really do my spoon test here because the pot's too wide, right? But yay, not bad. Still standing up, so that tells me I have enough rice. So I'm going to go ahead, cover this, let it come back to a boil, turn it back down, and then let it steam. And once that's done, we'll be ready to eat. So we're checking on our pilau. See that most of the water is evaporated. So at this point, we're going to go, and Mom always, this was always how she did hers. She adds a piece of foil over it, and then it helps to steam the rice. So my temperature gauge for the stove is on low. I've stirred it, and then I'm going to get a piece of foil, and I'm going to cover my pot, put the top on, the lid. Okay, once it's on, so then it's going to be another maybe 15 minutes. The rice should be ready. So I'll come back when we're ready to dish and show you the chicken pilau for today. So the rice has been steaming for about 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just check on it. Looks almost done. I'm going to be careful about moving this pepper out of the way because you don't want that to burst. So I'm just going to give it a nice stir. So this looks like it's ready. Give it a nice stir. And I think we're ready. I'm going to just taste the rice. It might need just a few minutes more, but so this is it. It's a one pot dish like this. Easy. Not a lot of washing up after, but it's delicious, and it was one of our favorites. Now, with the pilau, you can make it with any kind of meat, whether it's beef, pork, or chicken. My mom would make either chicken or pork when she did hers. So I hope you guys will try this. It's delicious, and I'm sure it's going to be one of your go-to dishes when you don't really want to put a lot of effort into cooking. Okay? Thanks again, and I'll remember to always subscribe, like these videos, and tell your friends about it. Okay? Until we meet again, take care.